6 months ago, I had no clue that my life would look the way that it does now. Back in January, I didn't really have any goals, dreams, aspirations, desires for how I wanted my year to look. I was kind of really comfortable in my situation, in my home, in my job. I just was okay with being content. And I didn't know what I wanted to do next. And because of that, I didn't move forward. I made new moves. And so now I'm sitting here going through a layoff, being laid off, just bought a new house, trying to figure out what I want my next steps to be and what I want the rest of my year to look like. I'm really trying to figure out, what do I want the next version of my life to look like? Who am I becoming? And when you don't have a vision for that person, you don't really know what next steps to take. You don't know who to reach out to on LinkedIn. You don't know what events to attend. You don't know what certifications to get if you're just lost. And that's really how I was feeling. And I knew that it was time for me to leave the job that I was in, because I heard a voice tell me last year, leave that job. Those are not your people. But I stayed because I was like, well, God, if I leave this job, then what? Where am I going to go? But sometimes life doesn't want you to question. It just wants you to act. It doesn't want you to question the how and to stress about the how. It just wants you to move and do the what. Because what I've been learning over the last month since I've been navigating this layoff is that opportunities are going to open for you. Doors are going to open for you if you just take the leap. And so now that I'm going through this layoff and I'm here experiencing all of the emotions of the grief and identity shifts, now I'm like, these next 6 months are personal. Now I'm moving into the second half of the year with more clarity about what I want my life to look like. I have a home that needs decorating, and I have a life that needs living. And when you are stuck in who you want to be, or stuck in the mindset of I don't know who I'm becoming, and not gaining any clarity on who you want to become, you will just stay stagnant. And stagnancy creates so many issues in our lives. So my game plan for the next 6 months, first of all, I'm going to be celebrating my birthday, and we are traveling. We are going to St. Martin for 5 days, and I feel like it will just be a beautiful way to reset after all of the craziness of losses and funerals and losing jobs and having to switch everything and moving into a new house. It'll just be a really good time for us to decompress, right? And so if you are anything like me and the first half of the year was chaotic or just stagnant, we still have the rest of the year to create new goals and to move towards them. The first thing that we want to do is to get clear on our dream and our vision for our lives. One thing that I will say that held me back, I was moving with intention into a life and a dream life of what other people said would fit me better, or opportunities that just came available and I took them because I was operating out of survival mode. But if we got real clear and centered in ourselves and our bodies, and really centered ourselves and our nervous system to believe that we can have the life that we deserve and desire, it will allow us to only go after opportunities that we actually want. I don't know if being an HR manager for the last 4 years was what I wanted to do, but it was safe and it was available during a time when I needed something to do. I needed a job, but I really wanted to work in media and communications. That was what I was trying to do when I left my social work job, and I became a digital media strategist for a few months, and then I just hopped into HR. But now that I'm free and I have the ability to create the life of my dreams for myself, I'm like, well, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? I've been navigating my personal style. How do I want to dress? I'm becoming more like of a boho vibe type woman, and just I really want to dress nice. Like, I want to be the lady who shows up in the suits. So I'm like, well, where do I get nice suits? What type of people do I want to associate myself with? I started going to networking events with people who look like me and do the things that I want to do. I've been attending more creator events and getting out and networking with people, and it's scary, but you have to do the scary things in order to get to the next step in your journey. You gotta do the scary things. And I recently attended a Toastmasters class. Now, Toastmasters is a public speaking association, and they like grade you on your speech, and I think that it's the perfect thing for me to do with me growing my own media brand through doing YouTube and just putting myself out there in that way. Because in previous roles, my voice was silenced. It was made to be smaller. My value wasn't made clear to me, and so I dealt with a lot of insecurity in the jobs that I had before, and I didn't feel confident in who I was and in showing up as the person that I am fully. And so now I'm only taking roles where I feel like I can show up as myself. I want to work with and for people who allow me to be my full self. But in that, you have to develop the confidence in order to show up as that person fully. And so now that I've had this time off, I'm thinking, like, what does my ideal day look like from start to finish? What do I want to experience throughout my days? What is it that I want to work on? What are the type of projects that I want to be a part of? What legacy do I want to leave here? What stories do I want to tell? I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we're both kind of looking for new roles right now, and we're both like, well, we don't want to work in this type of environment. I don't want to work in an environment where the job description says has to work in fast-paced, high energy environments. I don't want to work somewhere that's going to dysregulate my nervous system. I know in corporate environments you have to kind of go at a certain pace, but I like for things to be a certain way. And I've worked in environments where it wasn't super high pace and high energy and rigid deadlines. Like, I don't want to do that type of work. I need things to be spaced. So just thinking about stuff like that, like, what is the type of work environment that I want to be in? What type of team do I want to be a part of? And I'm really getting settled on that in my body and in my mind. And then the last thing that I really had to be honest with myself about was what was distracting me. Like, it is so hot out here. I'm sweating. I hope it doesn't look bad on camera, but I'm sweating out here. But I had to get really serious and honest with myself about what was distracting me. Like, there were days when I would be bored at work and I would be scrolling on my phone, and I had to be honest with myself about my phone addiction, like not being able to leave the room without my phone, without wanting to be connected. And I'm just like, girl, this is a problem. Like, you gotta work on this. So now I've been leaving my cell phone downstairs in the kitchen when I'm going to bed, so that I'm not scrolling at night. And my husband brought it to my attention too. He's like, you are always on your phone. Like, you use your phone as a distraction. And so I'm like, okay, that's a distraction. Another thing that was a distraction for me was always being outside. Always having something to do, going different places, and not focusing on myself and things that I needed to do in my house. Another thing was overwhelming myself with other people's stuff. And we talked about this in previous videos. Like, I noticed it for myself when I was going through my grief. I was always checking on other people to see how they were doing, like to try to regulate myself by helping them instead of just focusing on what I needed to do for myself. And so now that I'm kind of in a space where, okay, I'm just focusing on me, what I want to do, what I need to do, and limiting the distractions in my life so that I can get to the next season of who I'm actually supposed to be and who I'm supposed to show up as. And I feel like if I wouldn't have been scared and fearful of who I'm supposed to be, I would have been much further. I've always known that I was supposed to be a big deal, like on red carpets, being interviewed or interviewing, doing interviews, like talking to people. But for some reason, I don't know, like I lost a bit of confidence at some point in my career journey. And so now I have the space to really step back into who I always was and who I know that I'm supposed to be. My husband always says, you're going to be the next Oprah. Now, I don't know about that, but I do know that I am supposed to be making my mark on the world and sharing my journey and my story and giving other people the platform to share their stories as well. I know I said the last thing was the last thing, but I did want to say that another thing that was distracting me was that I am doing social media right now, right? And so one thing that was really distracting me in my journey was trying to do everything by myself. And so trying to manage multiple platforms, I'm looking at my YouTube channel and I'm like, I should have been at 5K, 10K. I feel like I should have been at 30K by now with as much content as I have been producing through shorts and my long form content. But where I messed up was that I was trying to be everywhere and do everything: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Substack, Facebook, and creating multiple pages on each platform. I was all over the place, and I was diagnosed with ADHD, but now that I'm aware of it, it's like, okay, we gotta zero this in and really focus on one platform, one page to get the work done, to get to where we are supposed to be. And the channel has been experiencing great growth. My views are down so bad, and it is really discouraging because I know I'm making quality content and I'm just waiting for everything to happen the way that I know that it's going to. And I'm really excited about where we're going with this channel. I just created 2 shows. So I made Self-Care Sundays with Starr into a show. Now that YouTube has created shows on here, and also Sips with Starr is now a show. So we have a wellness social commentary channel and a wellness tips channel, and I'm super excited about where the channel is going to be in 5 to 10 years. But you never know, like once you actually start doing the work, the doors will open and God can make things happen suddenly. God is a God of suddenly, okay? And also I was nervous about how I was going to make income for myself and bring more into the house, because one thing that our household goal is to have a certain number of income or a certain number saved before we have children. And so me losing my job kind of messed that up. And so God is so good, because I've been getting offers for UGC deals that are pretty substantial, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to create, because that's what I've always wanted to do, is to use my creativity and skills to bring in income. So I'm really excited about that. I just know that in order to become the person that you want to be, you have to have the environment in order to become that person. You have to be the person who can receive all the things. We're going to talk about that in another video, but also create the environment in which you can receive. So I'm really focusing on my home. How is that working with my mental health? Focusing on my internal environment, my mental health, my emotional health. All of that plays a part and stepping into this next season, next era of our lives. And so if you are somebody too who's just like, all right, we was playing around a little bit, but we still got time. Tomorrow is not promised, but we still have the ability to plan today for our tomorrows. So what does that look like? What does future you do on a day-to-day? What does her routine look like? What is she wearing? How does she talk? How does she show up? I know that I have not been operating like her. I have not been doing the things for myself that future me will be doing for herself. And so now we stepping it up. We gotta step it up. So if you wanna do this with me, this is what we're gonna do, okay? We are going to create a 6-month list of things to focus on, okay? 3 to 5 major things. We are not going to make a freaking huge to-do list over the next 6 months. We are just going to focus on 3 to 5 things that we want to focus on in order to become the person that we are meant to be. I don't feel like it's a reinvention. I feel like it's a stepping into who you already are, and it's just waiting for you to get there. That's what I feel like it is. Like, people do resets, and I always say, like, it's a return. We are returning to who we're meant to be, and that's so beautiful because it's just waiting for us to get there. Like, our future self is literally just waiting for us to catch up by fixing our habits, by fixing our routines. Instead of waking up and drinking caffeine, get you a smoothie. Instead of getting up and scrolling on your phone, get up and journal. These are all things that we know to do. We just have to do them. That's it, and that's all. And the amazing thing about our bodies and our minds is that we can rewire ourselves. We can rewire our brains just by being consistent with doing the things that we know we're supposed to do. And it's easy to fall off, but your body's job is to protect you and to help you in getting to where you're supposed to be. So all you gotta do is do the thing and just show up. So cheers to you, cheers to us for stepping into this next version of ourselves. I'm so excited to see what your life, what my life looks like at the end of the year, because we're about to get back to it. Who's with me? I'm just outside twiddling my toes. I came to the park today to just sit out here in the grass. It's beautiful, catch a vibe, get some vitamin D, meditate. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next video next week, same time. I'll see you there. Peace.